I want to talk today about the call to prosper. The call to prosper. Now, most people would be quite fine with the Lord releasing more prosperity to them. We all would like to prosper. So why is it that so few do? Is it because God kind of prefers most of us to be struggling and broke? No, the Bible actually teaches in many places that God's desire is that His children would prosper, that they be well taken care of, that they would have more than enough to share and to be a blessing to others. So why is that not the case for everyone? It's probably the same with most of God's promises. Think about healing. It's God's will to heal us, yet not everyone gets healed. It's God's will for us to live above addictions and the bondages of this world, and yet many people find themselves sucked into them. I believe most of the time the reason is due to the fact that while we know the promises, we often avoid the conditions that must be met to enter into promises. In fact, like most things, when people teach and preach on prosperity, it's actually quite shocking how often they preach the promise but fail to mention the condition. I want to look at Jeremiah 29:11, a scripture that most of you could quote if you've been in the church for very long. But I'm going to do something very rare. I'm going to actually read it in context. We'll read a couple more verses afterwards so that you can see not only is it God's will to prosper you, but it's also God's will for you to meet the conditions that lead to prosperity. Because if you really do want to prosper, you have to do just that. So Jeremiah 29:11. It says this, it says, "For I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future." Now, most people stop there, but let's keep reading. Verse 12, "Then you will call upon me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. You will seek me and find me when you search for me with all your heart. I love this part, I will be found by you, declares the Lord, and I will restore your fortunes, and I will gather you," and you can read on your own. In fact, I encourage you, read the whole chapter, read the whole book. We need to look at passages of Scripture in context. Now, God was talking to the Israelites, but God is the same yesterday, today, and forever, okay? He doesn't change. And so the same things that He desires for them, He desires for us. But He asks the same things of us as He does of them in many cases, okay? And so we learn about God and His ways when we look at things in context. So is God's desire for us to prosper? Absolutely. But you'll notice He says, this is my plan. I know the plans I have for you, okay? My plan is to prosper you, not to harm you. Good things, a good future. But, He says, first, you're going to learn how to pray. You're going to call upon me. You're going to pray to me. And then I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to hear you. And not only are you going to pray, you're going to seek me. And you're going to seek me and you're going to find me when you search for me with all your heart. Not like 10%, not like a couple hours a week. There's something that's going to happen in you that you are going to become overwhelmed with your desire, not just for money and prosperity, but for me. You will seek me and you will find me when you search for me with all your heart. I will be found by you, declares the Lord. And yes, I will restore your fortunes. Yes, I'll prosper you. Yes, I'll bring you into the promised land that I have intended for you. Friend, I want you to know God's plans for you are good. But like every other human being on earth, you get to decide. And you make that decision every single day, whether or not you're going to be a person who talks to God, where you're going to be one who communes with Him, not just watches YouTube videos. Oh, I'm glad you do that. I need somebody to watch these things. But not just watching YouTube messages, but to go for a walk today. Make some time, talk to Him, bring to Him your requests. Don't be anxious about anything, but present your requests to God. Talk to Him about what your needs are, but then don't just stop there. Also, seek Him. Make time to pursue Him. Worship Him. Ask Him to visit you. Draw close to Him. You will seek me and find me when you search for me with all of your heart. Friend, make some time to do that today. I promise you, it will lead to the life that God has for you. And it's a good life. It's full of hope. It's a wonderful future. And it even includes prosperity. He wants you to be so blessed that not only will you be taken care of, but you'll be able to be generous on every occasion. I hope that was a blessing to you. If you haven't already, please join our Oil Patch Pulpit community. All you got to do is send me an email to feedback@oilpatchpulpit.com. Say, Steve, I like your stuff. And if you want to be informed of gatherings, put a note in there too. Say, please inform me of gatherings. Our next big one that's coming up, July 14th to 16th. You do not want to miss this. Last year we had like 700 people worshiping the Lord out in the wilderness under the open sky. It was outrageous, a whole weekend. This year, it's going to be even more. We already have way more registrations than we had last year. And so come, you can bring your tent, you can bring your RV, you can stay in a hotel in town if you can find one still. But it's going to be a glorious time. It's totally free, but you do got to register because we need to know how many people we're feeding and also how many kids are going to be there and this and that. And so you can register at thealtar.ca. Altar is spelled A-L-T-A-R. So thealtar.ca. Register today and come meet me in the wilderness. God bless you. We'll see you soon.